Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
What a difference a few hours make as we take a look outside right now. The storm cleanup is happening across the metro area. It's a beautiful day across Metro Detroit, but the cleanup continues for many communities that dealt with the storms from the overnight hours. And that's just part of the story because we have another storm that could potentially hit us later today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rhonda Walker alongside forewarned meteorologist Ashley Barrissey, who's tracking yet another storm that could be heading our way, and this timing again during the nighttime hours.
Yeah, obviously that's when we're most concerned as folks. We want to make sure they're getting their weather alerts and they're not sleeping through some of these storms. The good news is tonight is not going to be as severe as last night. I mean, that was a doozy that rolled through the area.
Yeah, it really was. Well, that's good news that it's not going to be as strong, but still.
But there's still the potential for there to be some severe storms that will fire off with a cold front that's going to roll through the region. And so let's go ahead and first start with power outages that we're still dealing with at this noon hour. And that's from last night's warm front that lifted and brought several lightning strikes and strong storms to the area. We even had a few tornado warnings. And so you can see the power outage map here, where we still have several thousand without power. Now, as far as our storm reports, most of them across southeastern Michigan were due to damaging thunderstorm wind gusts, but we did have some prominent hail in our northern communities. And then it was off west in a portion of Lansing, one of the suburbs called Waverly, a report of a possible tornado. We're waiting for the National Weather Service to confirm that today with survey crews that they send out. But otherwise, temperatures right now are on the warm side, and check out the crystal clear blue skies. Sunshine taking hold today for a beautiful summer day. 76 in the city right now, 77 in Ann Arbor, 75 in Pontiac, 79 in Monroe. As far as your hourly forecast goes, we're going to be warming up well into the 80s over the next couple of hours. But you see, there is a chance for some stronger storms to develop after sunset again tonight. In fact, that threat will be a marginal risk across southeastern Michigan. So that's 2 levels down from where we were in portions of southeast Michigan last night. But nonetheless, we could see some damaging storms roll through. We'll walk you through the timeline coming up.
All right, Ashley, thank you. We'll enjoy that beautiful weather while we have it today. In the meantime, you can see across Metro Detroit, it seems that communities like Livingston County did get the worst of the storms overnight. We are waiting for official word from the National Weather Service, but it sure seems like a tornado aftermath in the area of Gregory and Unadilla Township near Pinckney. And as Nick Monticelli shows us, homeowners and business owners are just starting the cleanup.
I think it is safe to say that in the communities of Gregory and Unadilla out here in Livingston County, Hickory Farms got hit the worst. In fact, take a look. Their roof no longer exists. Also, follow me. I want to show you this over here. This haystack over here, the massive haystack, all used to be covered by a barn. As you can see, that barn no longer exists.
There was like a 120-foot barn that covered all of our hay and some equipment's in there too. And then several wagons have flipped over down there, a lot of trees down, a lot of power lines down.
Sam Topping owns Hickory Farms in Gregory. Last night he grabbed the kids and took cover in the basement.
I could see the lightning. It was cold and I was shaking and I did not like it.
Once the sun rose, they realized the damage. The shop roof torn off, their bus stop shack tossed around. But the worst of it, a few 100 feet away. Barns torn apart, roofs missing, and equipment thrown on its side.
We have an excavator, so we'll try to pick it out of there and save what we can and then go from there.
Down the road, Kathy Collins listened to the storm.
Yeah, just watching the winds whip and wondering, and I could hear trees cracking, so I knew we were going to have trees down. That might require a professional.
Not your husband is what you're saying?
No, I don't think so.
I won't tell him you said it. And while the cleanup takes time, everyone knows rebuilding will take even longer.
Get a hold of the insurance company, hope they treat us right, and then get everything cleaned up and rebuild what we have to.
A little closer now to the barn that doesn't exist anymore. You can see the structural beams are still here. In fact, a lot of the nails now poking out. The police department says despite all of this damage here and all over this town, nobody was hurt. We're in Gregory. Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
And that is certainly the good news. The property can be replaced and repaired, but not lives. Thank you, Nick. And we weren't the only ones with the severe weather here in southeast Michigan. The west side of the Michigan, you're looking at video near Grand Rapids as those storms blew through overnight. We are hearing that twisters were spotted on radar, but it's still unknown if any of those twisters were responsible for this damage. Several homes are reporting trees are down, some even falling on top of houses. The National Weather Service is also out on the west side of the state surveying damage there as well. And let's take a look at this. That same storm that hit Metro Detroit, it dropped at least 9 tornadoes across other Midwestern states. That wild weather even delayed a major concert, Beyonce's show in Chicago. NBC's Maggie Vespa is there with a closer look at the damage.
Hey there from Chicago. It was a chaotic scene inside open air Soldier Field behind me. Video on social media showing those severe storms that rolled through the Midwest overnight, clashing with Beyonce's Cowboy Carter show here in Chicago. She was supposed to take the stage at 7 right when the storms came through, and video shows fans, members of the Beehive, having to take shelter as intense winds, rain, again, roared through the windy city. After several hours, eventually the show did go on. Queen Bee took her stage, and everyone Soldier Field said was safe. They said that was their goal throughout the evening. That being said, in other parts of the country, the destruction was intense. At least 9 reported tornadoes touching down, especially across Minnesota and Wisconsin. Crazy video out of Wisconsin shows kids on a school bus looking out the window, seeing what looks like a pretty clear funnel cloud touching down. We saw several homes and buildings destroyed, particularly in Dodge County, Wisconsin. So cleanup underway there. All of this with that severe heat holding strong in much of the South and parts of the Midwest, at least close to a dozen cities, I should say, breaking daily heat records yesterday. And that heat expected to maintain into the weekend, along with the possibility of more severe storms. Amid all of this, also a bright spot in Minnesota, with firefighters yesterday saying calming winds and just more resources showing up on site are allowing them to gain some ground against those rare wildfires that have been burning in the northern part of that state. They added they're just hoping for rain over the next couple of days so they can keep building on that progress. Maggie Vespa, NBC News, Chicago.
All right, Maggie, thank you. Turning our attention back here at home to other news we're following this Friday. We are waiting to find out if the mother accused of leaving her children to live alone in filthy condition for years will go to trial. Kelly Bryant is facing child abuse and welfare fraud charges. She's also accused of stealing almost $30,000 worth of benefits meant to care for her children. Bryant's 3 kids, ages 15, 13, and 12, were found living on their own inside of an apartment in Pontiac earlier this year. They had been living alone and in deplorable conditions since at least 2021. Today, a judge is expected to decide if there's enough evidence to send the case to trial. We do have a crew there in court, so we'll have updates for you in later newscasts and on clickondetroit.com. Just into our newsroom, charges have now been dropped against the man who shot a teen with autism. The incident happened after the teen was dropped off in the wrong neighborhood by a rideshare service. The suspect, Robert Pugh, allegedly fired multiple shots and hit the teen in the back. The teen is expected to survive. During our hearing today, charges were dropped without prejudice. We are working to learn why those charges were dropped. Once we find out, we'll pass that along to you as well. A man is dead after a shooting on Detroit's west side overnight. Police responding to the area of Dexter and Davison around 2:30 in the morning. Police say that the victim was rushed to the hospital where he later died. Police do have a person that they are questioning in connection to the shooting. We are following this story and will provide updates as we learn more.